You're the producer, like you're the tech guy, you're the soundboard. The question marks behind your statements do not give me confidence in your work. I never want to hear a doctor say, it looks like he's alive.
It's like those okay
Please
commercials.
understand.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're currently live on
Periscope is up.
Twitch. I was like, what is this?
All right.
Yeah.
I saw the Periscope link. YouTube's probably up as well. I haven't had a chance to look at that one.
All right, we're good then. Our shenanigans are okay.
All right, we're ready?
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 200.
It's not as easy as it looks, is it? It's hard. It's hard.
Hey, I've done it the last couple times without messing up, I think. Dang it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 277, recorded on April 23rd, 2020. On tonight's episode, we welcome special guest Jason Lacey from Flux Deposed, discussing major updates to Animal Crossing and Mario Maker, and scalpers are jerks. Jesse, play that funky music.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 277. And of course, that sultry voice that's stumbling through his introduction, welcoming us today with some of the coolest guys around on the internet. Of course, I'm talking with Mr. Timothy Alp. Tim, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing just fine, other than being angry at scalpers. They're the reason why I messed up. Those doggone scalpers.
There you go. Blame it on somebody else. I like that. I like that. A person who never blames somebody else, but always takes the responsibilities on his big, broad shoulders. Mr. Jesse Waldack over in the soundboard. Jesse, how are you today, sir?
Good. Especially if I push the wrong button, then it's really obvious that whose fault that is.
Yeah. You have so much control of this podcast. The audio cues, the inserting audio cues whenever. We are always just in your hands, and you guide this ship along the way. So thank you, sir.
I do my best.
Always doing his best, probably better than most. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest with us, Mr. Jason Lacey. Jason, how are you?
Well, thank you. I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I can't get into my own Nintendo show anymore, so I gotta jump on to other ones.
Oh no!
Oh no, we lost him. We lost him already.
There's the mic. Oh
Top
wait, I
of the
forgot.
show. Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
You're back.
There you go. You're back.
Me and technology have an issue. I think it's all the cords I'm running. Of course, Jason representing a Legend of Zelda t-shirt. He's representing his Nintendo brand. Spot on. And
Michigan representing.
Michigan representing. Guys, you know, I love the Zelda representation. Michigan, some fantastic beards. I feel demasculated in front of you gentlemen. You know what I'm saying?
You probably should.
I probably should. There we go. Nice. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, my name is Justin Masson, and I will be conducting this train wreck that we'll be going through today. But we have lots of interesting Nintendo news. Woo woo! So let's jump on board, shall we? Jesse, let's move on to our And I didn't scroll down, so I totally forgot what our next line was. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the news is brought to us by patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where, as we have mentioned before, for the month of April and May, ladies and gentlemen, Patreon is 100% free. That means if you're currently a subscriber to Patreon, we're not drawing any money from you. And if you're new to Patreon and you want to jump on now's a great time, because we're not drawing any money from you. Why? Because the world kind of sucks right now. And you could use that money in your pocket and not ours. So ladies and gentlemen, of course, if you want to jump in and get your free pre and post shows, you want to get key artwork, you want to get into our voting, you want to get into our Discord, you want to get into all those fantastic options, head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and join in for free. And if you're like, well, sure, what if you start charging? Guess what? Before we even start charging again, we're going to send a big email out. So if you want to bail out, good, do it. That's fine. Jump in now, get all the free stuff. It's fantastic. You should do that. And of course, I'd be remiss if I did not mention our new Patreon subscribers. Tim, do you have that available?
Aha!
You don't, Tim. I knew you didn't. I knew you wouldn't. Well, of course, I do have that available. Big thank you to our new Patreon subscribers, Patrick and Angry. Patrick and Angry. Thank you so much for supporting us. I greatly appreciate it. You are absolutely fantastic folk. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into the news. I like numbers. I like sales numbers. Justin likes these weird things. Well, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because March 2020, the NPD numbers have come in or have been announced. And folks, not shocking, it's good for Animal Crossing and it's good for Nintendo. So I want to read down for you the list that we have currently. Where is that list? Is that right? Okay. Sorry, I was looking for. It looks like there's 15 of games listed there.
It's showing all 20 games that were, I think,
all 20. Okay.
For that month, the top 20 for the month.
Okay.
And Animal Crossing is number 1.
Yeah, let's just do that. Animal Crossing is number 1. Let's just I could read other games, but there's no point. Animal Crossing is number 1, folks. Interestingly enough, Animal Crossing has become the second best-selling game of the year 2020, and it has achieved the 3rd highest launch month of any Nintendo published game in tracking history. The first is Smash Ultimate, and the second is Smash Brawl. And bonus to it as well, the launch month dollar sales of Animal Crossing New Horizons have exceeded the lifetime sales of all other Animal Crossing franchise games, making Animal Crossing New Horizons the best-selling game in the franchise. Jason, is this shocking to you?
You know, if I want to be honest, like my honest answer, I think it is, even with the echo chamber of what I have with voices out there, like with like Bobby and other people that just were heralding this game. It was going to be so big, and it felt that way, you know, just with the saturation and the exposure that the Switch naturally brings titles. I think we will naturally see franchises as they release on Switch probably going to sell exponentially better than previous iterations, just to the exposure that the Switch brings. But part of me, I just, you know, numbers and that side of things, that's never something I've paid attention to that much. And like, if it comes to predictions or something like that, I'm not going to tell you how many units something is going to sell, because that's just it's not something that the way my mind works and I pay attention to. But it just didn't seem like, you know, I think other podcasts out there have made these comments and have talked about it. You know, Animal Crossing was like a niche franchise previously, and now it's very much mainstream with New Horizons. It's very much everywhere, it seems. So I guess if I want to be honest and answer personally, yeah, I was surprised, because I knew it was going to sell well, but to be like number 3 in like Nintendo history of game releases, I mean, wow. I mean, I didn't see that coming.
Sure. Yeah. Tim, what about yourself?
You remember the movie or the book Ready Player One? The VR world, the what was it, Odyssey or whatever? I forget the name of that VR world. I was trying to look it up real quick. That's where we're heading with Animal Crossing. That's going to be take over the world, and we're all going to jack into Animal Crossing and just live there. So
I mean, it beats living here. I mean,
right now we're just that's how this is all going to happen. Is going to happen virtually eventually. Nintendo's going to come out with their new virtual headset, you know, for the Switch.
Made of cardboard.
2, you know, and we're all going to strap in and get in there and then live our lives that way. No, but seriously, it's like, I put this question in here because I thought it was interesting. That does this prove these numbers that now AC is a tier level title for Nintendo? Like, can they use this? And I know the other shows, like you said, Jason, probably talk about this a bunch of times, but does this solidify it as up there with Zelda, Metroid, Mario, and all that kind of stuff?
It's interesting because you also have to think of like, so there's a couple factors of this. So first and foremost, like I figured it was going to be big, but I again never played any Animal Crossing game before. I was new to this franchise, so I was really coming in like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, people seem excited about this greedy raccoon who's stealing your money and making you pay stuff, but I guess so. I don't know. So here's my question when I think about it, right? Is it the fact that like Nintendo hasn't really released any other games this year? So we're all so saturated with one thing. We're so excited by one thing that draws, right? and the fact that Nintendo's basically said, like, make way for this, like, we're focusing all of our energy on it. Is it also a byproduct of the current
Right.
climate, right? We're currently in COVID, right? We're going through a situation where we have to be isolated, where we want this like deep disconnection, right? In some ways, Tim, you're like
I
jacking
think
into
it's
Ready
a
Player.
perfect storm of all of the above.
Yeah. So
Right.
does that elevate Animal Crossing to be, to your question, Tim, in the A tier? Well, that's tough to say because you've only got this as a sample, right? If you do it again and it strikes again, then you're probably up in that tier. Where would you have placed Animal Crossing before? Maybe Jason, if we're using a tier system, where would you have put Animal Crossing?
I think we did this on Nintendo Shack once, and I think previously we had it like I don't want to be. I think definitely B. I don't think we might have actually put it in a C tier, honestly, just because it wasn't. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it had its diehard loyalists, and you had people that love it. Don't get me wrong, I love Animal Crossing. I don't want to poo-poo on the game, but I mean, in the grand Nintendo hierarchy, it just seems like
now. Everything, like we said, everything's come together, the perfect storm to help bolster it. But I think there were some other factors even before this that helped it as well. Not only all of us Nintendo fans that are promoting this game to all these people that don't usually play games, but even before that, it was like this game on New Leaf, with the 3DS, there was a lot of people who had a 3DS or DS but didn't have the home systems and were playing it there. So we got those people coming in waiting for that. We had the people like Bobby who played every single version of Animal Crossing that came out. So it didn't matter if it was handheld or home console. And then you have just the fact that the Switch has a huge audience. So the huge audience with that 50 million audience or larger now, I don't remember, but there's a certain percentage there that, that you're still doing pretty good numbers if you get that percentage of buyers who are interested in Animal Crossing. But then, like you said, all this other stuff happened to where it becomes this perfect storm of, well, I don't have nothing to do, and this looks like a great wholesome game to play, other than, you don't see a lot of people running out to play Doom.
Yeah.
So
I had friends and coworkers I didn't even know have a Switch, and I saw them on like their Instagram stuff. They're playing Animal Crossing. Yeah. So it's just like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Jesse, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
I just changed my mic system, so that's why. Yeah, I think like it is. It goes back to that question earlier. Like when I think of Nintendo, and if you go to I don't know, someone on the street and be like, all right, Nintendo, what's the franchise that comes to your mind? It's not Animal Crossing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's your Marios, it's your Zeldas, it's your Metroids, right? Maybe it's your Smash, maybe it's your Mario Kart, right? Like there's probably a bunch of other franchises that you like, but there's such a reverence for this. And I think that, going back to your commentary before, Tim, this idea of like, hey, I want to get jacked in this like Ready Player One world. Well, that's kind of what Animal Crossing did here, right? Because it allows you to, when everything else is kind of bonkers outside, to create this isolation, this quietness, this kind of like place where things are okay. And I think there's such a perfect storm of it. But I do think that for Nintendo, like looking at the metrics, looking at the numbers, they're going to have to say, like, they knew before that Animal Crossing was probably an evergreen title for them anyways. Do you know what I mean? But I think this so much solidifies it. And I think, we're going to talk about it a little bit here, like Super Mario Maker 2. And just even in the 2 days, right? Super Mario Maker 2 update, we got information about it. And then like 24 hours later, we got information about Animal Crossing. How they're communicating that DLC, that those updates, those strategies are very different. And you can see that they're taking a different tone with Animal Crossing versus something like Mario Maker, right? I'm very fascinated to see what they actually have done. Now, people are going to be asking, we do not at this point actually know how many units have actually sold or moved. We do not have that data. We do have data along the lines of sales and that it's, more than the other franchises, but we don't actually have like, where does this measure against the Luigi's Mansion? Where does it measure against a Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, probably won't know that for another 2 weeks.
No, probably not. But again, the interesting part about this, and Jesse, keep me honest here, Nintendo, when they're doing their numbers, do they count their digitals or they just count physical?
Yeah, when Nintendo gives numbers to the investors, it includes digital.
It includes digital. Okay, perfect. But the interesting part about this, for Nintendo's capture, their capture, because their fiscal year ends at the end of March 31st. This game came out on March 20th. They had 11 days.
12.
So whatever numbers they're going to provide you is only 12 days. And then we can see that the energy, the hype on this, like, this is going to be a fascinating franchise to watch on the actual quarterly investor numbers that they're going to give to you, the next one and the next one and the next one after that, because you're going to see it jumping higher and higher up that franchise as well.
Yeah, because one of the things that was said, was, or I think you already said it. In terms of dollars, this in the first 2 weeks, this sold more than in the U.S. than the New Leaf in the U.S. did for its lifetime. So just looking at the top 3DS games, New Leaf was number 7 at 12.45 million, and which is the first game that doesn't have Pokemon or Mario in the title.
Yeah. Looking at our chat here, Ms. says, I know at least 5 people that have never played Animal Crossing and are playing because of the situation, right? And I think Jason, that speaks a little bit to what you were saying before.
Yep,
I
totally.
didn't have a clue, right? So,
I mean, they weren't playing Smash Bros, so why would I not even pay attention to them?
yeah, exactly, right? You're not true friends. You're not real friends, right? I don't know. Any other final thoughts there on the numbers here, Jason?
No, I mean, I love it. I love seeing success for Nintendo. I love people experiencing this game for the first time, and I like it when success like this happens, so I get to see like the continuation of franchises that I enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we move on from the top 20 games, I wanted to note, so Doom Eternal, which came out the same day, ranked 6th. The 7th game, Persona 5 Royal, came out March 31st. It had 1 day to get December 7th.
Yeah, that's pretty high sales as well. Interestingly enough, as you look at the top 10 games for the year, as according to NPD numbers, I'll just go this from number 10 to number 1.
And again,
number
these
10,
are physical only.
Yeah, physical only. Number 10, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Number 9, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That is such. I mean, that will still lead, and it'll be interesting to see whether Animal Crossing passes Mario Kart, because Mario Kart has been the leader of that pack. But again, I think that when you think of the genre, right, and kind of the audience, Mario Kart is such a family-friendly, family-open, inclusive, and brings the entire couch along with the ride,
Sure.
right? You have a bunch of fun. In a lot of ways, Animal Crossing does those things. When you think of like the 4-player options that you have locally, right? It's not I have to be a good platformer like in Super Mario. I have to understand, the Legend of Zelda canon and how to beat monsters. There's an approachableness, almost very similar to their approach when they had the Wii, right? The general broader audience, the more casual gamer, comes into something like Animal Crossing. I think that Mario Kart, in some ways, is also a very casual gamer approach.
Yeah.
The key thing there that I think is very interesting that, like you said, I want to watch is there's one key difference between the two, and that's Animal Crossing has the most people I've heard say, I'm done playing this with you. I want my own copy. I want my own system, and this
That's
is
true.
probably what Nintendo was hoping for, even though we all were poo-pooing it before, like, this sucks. I don't want to, I should be able to have one system that we can all have our own islands on and all that kind of stuff. But, I've heard so many stories where wives are like, okay, I'm done playing this game with the family. I want my own copy, or husbands or kids or whatever. It's just been like, that's it. There's another Nintendo in the house for a lot of people, and then another copy of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I don't think we have mentioned any about the hardware sales here, but I think March 2020 sold more Switches than March 2017.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So hold on a second. The month that the Switch launched, this month, 3 years later, has sold more copies than the month it launched.
Yes.
And there was one game that was launching this month at the end of the month, and it was about a fiscally
irresponsible, or I guess fiscally responsible
Yes.
raccoon in a sweater vest.
And the sales numbers would have been more if there wasn't shortages.
Yeah, and well, that's the
Again,
interesting
just
part,
like 3
right?
years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And yeah, you know, maybe that's the argument, right? Now it is up to that tier, possibly. Number 9 was Mario Kart 8. Number 8 was Madden NFL 20. Number 7 was Resident Evil 3, followed by Grand Theft Auto 5,
Another
MLB
game
The
that's been
Show,
around for a
Wow.
while.
NBA 2K20, Dragon Ball Z, and then Animal Crossing New Horizons came in at number 2, and the game that was beating it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
It's just
That
interesting.
is-
That's what it is so far.
Yeah,
Wow.
interesting to see how these numbers shake out.
Yes.
All right. Folks, yeah, I see some comments in the chat here. My wife wants her own island as well. So, yeah, we're totally seeing that. And I want her to have her own
he
island.
turns around and then says, and I want her to have her own island.
Yeah, so she can stop messing up my own.
Yeah.
The struggle is real.
If you're in Canada, go to Costco.
Yes,
Yes.
Costco is the
Costco.
insider trait. I will tell you that one right now, folks. All right. We're going to come back to Animal Crossing, of course, because there was a major update. We're going to talk about that. First, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the other major update. Out of nowhere this week, did anyone expect to hear Super Mario Maker 2 got a free final major update? And this was announced, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, to a 4-minute kind of like, hey, here's everything that's included. Now, it's very interesting here to take note that it was the last free
Yes.
final major update. We're going to talk about this in a couple of moments as well. But I do want to talk about the new items, quick rundown of what happened. Then, Jason, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So quickly here, Super Mario 2 Mushroom comes into play, turning you into Super Mario Brothers 2 Mario, which was absolutely... You know, I've actually got a question for that one. So hold on a second, because this was a question asked. I'm going to insert it right here because it was, I think, appropriate. Pat Duddy asks on our patreon.com site, Justin's thoughts on Super Mario Brothers 2 Mushroom Edition. I love it, Pat. I love my Super Mario Brothers 2. I think it's fantastic. This is exactly what not quite exactly what I wanted, but close enough that I'm happy with it. I wanted a Super Mario 2 theme. I didn't get it, but I'm happy that it's there, right? I'm happy. It's excited. When I saw that was the first thing I think it led with. I was excited. I was hyped. So I'm very happy with that. You can ride on, pick up new items. There's a frog suit now available, power balloon, super acorn, boomerang flower, additional wearables that include a cannon box, propeller box, red POW box, a Goomba mask, bullet bill mask. There's a cursed key, on and off trampolines. There are new enemies, including the 7 Koopalings, a Mecha Koopa, and the big one here, ladies and gentlemen, the big one that like cemented this as a massive update, World Maker. You can now create routines, hills, bridges, other sceneries. Levels can be added to points on a path. You can change icons. You can create bonus stage toad houses. You can have warp pipes that can get used to other maps. Themes include islands, underground, desert, snow, sky, forest, volcano, outer space. You can collect 8 worlds with up to 5 courses to create your own full Super Mario game. And you can share that out. Whew! Man.
It's a lot,
Forty.
it's a lot in that
Lacey.
4 minutes. It's a lot in that
5
4 minutes.
5 courses per world for a total of 40 courses.
Sorry, I apologize. Thank you. Jason, what do you think of this?
I think it's great. You know, I haven't, I was super into Super Mario Maker 2 when it launched, and I drifted away when some other games came out, but it's just what you could always go back to. And I love the support that they've gave to this title with updates along the way. And I love these changes and these additions they made because it just gives all these more mechanics for makers to play around with and design that in ways you've never seen. Like back on the Wii U, I just played the game. I didn't have any desired design. So finally in this game, I made a couple of levels and you think like, this is really cool. I'm going to do something really unique. And then you go out there on the web and it's just kind of mind blowing what people come up with. But I'm just really interested to see, because there's a few people that I follow that I've played their levels and I would just love to see what they come up with. So I'm really, really interested to see like what they come up with and what they how they further push the boundaries of what these mechanics introduce, but it just looks fun to me, and it's something like for me that I had gone away from the game for so long. This is something for me to actually like fire it up and get back in there and play it. I like that world maker. That's so cool, and I think that aesthetic, being able to design your own overworld, it's something minor, but it's so I don't know. It just really feeds on that nostalgia of Nintendo properties for us, and that's what we're suckers for, right? I mean,
yeah, that feels like that world maker feels like the thing that everyone has been asking for. Do you know what I mean? That everyone was like, I built this stage and this one, and like, but like to be able to put them together in this showcase, essentially, and say, Jason, here's my code. Like, play these 40 levels I built. Like, you get to kind of you get to tell a story in a different way. It's not telling a story in just a scene. It's the entire thing, right? And it really, like, you know, if you go back to like when you were a kid, thinking like, could you imagine you can build your own Mario levels completely? Like, you can build an entire game and share it with whoever you want, right? Like that is mind blowing. And they did this feels like a thing we were all waiting for and all wanting. And I think it was absolutely massive. I want to ask you this question, Jason. What do you think about the last free major update? Noting the word free and final major update.
That almost explicitly makes it sound like there's going to be some paid content coming, some sort of expansion, something. And let's face it, you know, we haven't seen, I mean, we've seen it with, you know, the Fighter Pass and with Pokemon and now with Fire Emblem as well. But I mean, for the most part, I've always loved how Nintendo's done DLC. I mean, I hate it's an old reference, but look at the Mario Kart 8 update that we got. And still, like, the price point was fair. What we got was awesome. And it always left, I mean, you could sell me Mario Kart 8 tracks today, and I would pay for more Mario Kart 8 tracks. But I think, I don't know what more, when I think of what could be coming that would be paid, I would have to think we'd have to get more, like, tile sets, right? Like some more franchises in there. I mean, because I'm not super familiar with what we got in the Wii U. I know people really wanted to, you know, all that amiibo functionality where you could change your figure and get all that. And then, you know, we had that with Link that's in this new version. So there's all that stuff that wasn't left out. But I mean, could we see a more robust builder with Super Mario Brothers 2 in there for you, Justin? Or could we get some further assets from Super Mario World, or not Super Mario World, but Super Mario 3D World and things of that nature? I don't know where they would go from that, but I feel like the fact that they had to say free, I mean, that pretty much leaves that door wide open that there's going to be more content coming to this game at some point. And maybe, especially with this year, looking at delays in manufacturing or just the way the supply chain has been put under constraints, this is a great year to support your titles and make them more evergreen with content. I mean, look at what we came out of the woodwork with Splatoon all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's great.
And we'll see that with like Animal Crossing as something, a game. It's more. I hate looking at the games as a service because typically that always kind of feels
grimy.
Yeah, a little bit. But I think there's a way that you can support these titles that are already out there and continue to give fans value.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting. You know, you referenced there, Jason, some great games with DLC and update strategies, right? Whether it's Fire Emblem, whether it's Smash Brothers, you know, I'd argue that Splatoon, they had a fantastic strategy for regular updates. You know, we've seen an update for obviously Pokemon, right? We've seen updates for Luigi's Mansion, Legend of Zelda, right? Like almost every single one of the mainstream games that they've come out with, and I'll include ARMS had a bringing you back. Here's a new fighter.
Poor
ARMS, right? Mario Tennis brought you back, right? And it seems like they have found a way. They've had varying levels of success and really good strategic DLC kind of updates or free drops, with different games. And I think it's something like Smash, where just the communication is fantastic. Obviously, Animal Crossing, we're seeing that. Super Mario Maker 2. It feels like they were just so hit and miss on their communication, their strategies, their updates. Right, where, you know, we look at, so again, we're going to talk about this in a couple moments. Animal Crossing, they're literally telling you for the next 60 days what that looks like. Mario Maker, they were like, here's a game, and it was kind of just That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of months later, there was some update, and then that was kind of it. And then a couple of months later, out of nowhere, by the way, now you can be Link, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, and I think, and interestingly enough, we've been around. This podcast has been around long enough to remember when Super Mario Maker, the original, came out on the Wii U. And they did a really good job of their level of communication, their level of strategic updates, their level of like, hey, here's a website you can go to. Here's this. They did a really good job of doing a lot of those fundamentals, where it feels like some of those things got lost in Super Mario Maker 2. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tim, agree, disagree?
No, I agree with you guys 100%. It's very excited about what they've announced and surprised like you guys. And I want to bring it back up. I deleted it off of my Switch because I wasn't playing it to make room. So now with this, I'm going to probably re-download it at some point, hopefully. But again, it's going to depend because I've been spending a lot of time with Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm really excited about, like you said before, was the World Maker, because I think that's really cool. I want to dive in and try to learn how to do some of that stuff and create, at least the first world where I can, connect the first, few courses I make and end it with a castle. And then if I feel comfortable with it, then just go through and what does it say, up to 8 worlds containing a total of up to 40 courses can be combined, creating a mini Super Mario game that can be shared with others. I think that just blows my mind. And even if I don't make that stuff, the creativity we're going to get from the community to see that what's going on. And I hope that maybe that creativity leads to jobs for some people who make some of these awesome things. Say, hey, come in and help us design the next Mario game,
And that's a great point. Like there is such and I think the thing that I'm hearing from a little bit, Tim, from you, and I think Jason even a little bit too as well, is that like, sure, look, I'm not a good designer. Like I'm not really good at making the levels, but man, I'd love to jump in there and play them, right? And try it. There is such a pocketed fan base for this, but they're very passionate fan base. There's a very passionate community, right? And there's and like these, like when I saw these updates, I was like, man, I haven't played Super Mario Maker since like the Link update came into it. But man, I'm going to jump back into it. And then my second thought was, I cannot wait to see what someone like a Paul Lloyd creates. Do you know what I mean? Where you've got these people in your community who are like passionate fans who have analyzed every screen, who knows what's going on there, and are going to build some amazing things. And I think that Nintendo's probably not as happy with the sales of Super Mario Maker 2 as I think probably the original or some of the other content. I think that may have also been a byproduct of the fact that when this came out on the Wii U, there wasn't a lot of anything else. So everyone bought Super Mario Maker 2 or Super Mario Maker, right? But I think it's those type of things that allow for it to grow. And so I'm very like again, if you're part of our community, send us a code. If you've made a whole world, send us a code. We'll play it. I'd love to play it on stream. Like
we have a Discord specifically for it.
Specifically for it. Drop it in there. Let's do these things. But I'm so excited, I think, to your guys' point as well, Jason, like what everyone can build with it. I think that's going to be so cool.
And I think that's something that everybody who is not familiar with this game, who sees Mario Maker and might be scared away from it because they may not feel like they're creative enough to play this game, to realize that it's not just for that. It's to play those things that other people make. That if you're a Mario fan and you want to play some more 2D Mario type games, pick this game up. You'll have content forever. It seems like,
Yeah.
This is actually one of those games that, when I purchase games, I think about, do I want it physically or do I want it digitally? Right. So for example, Animal Crossing, I bought it digitally because I did not want to be taking it in and out of my Switch every day. Right. This is a game that I wish I had bought digitally, but I bought physically. And the reason being is it's on my dashboard an instant. I'm more likely to go into it right away. As opposed to, where's that cartridge? Got to go find it. Got to go put it in there. It's a lot of effort. But I would take flights for work and I would download levels onto it. And so I play them offline as I'm flying around, and it was really so cool. So there's so many awesome things with it. All right.
Mecha Dragon asks, do you think we'll ever get a new 2D Mario game anymore thanks to this Mario Maker 2 update?
That sounds like a familiar question. We've heard that question before.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think?
Nintendo likes money. They'll make another. I mean, they're a company. Yeah. They like to sell us stuff. They'll make
Yeah.
another Mario game.
Just look at the Wii U one.
I looked at the Wii U top selling games and the Switch top selling games as of the end of the year, and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the Switch was ranked 10. Or so the wiki I'm looking at already has New Horizons passing it, but so at 5.8 million, which outsold the Wii U, which was the third best game. So it's still those games are one of the top sellers on systems. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see another one somewhere.
People still want to play Nintendo's Mario games. What Nintendo makes with those levels and stuff. They want to play theirs. So
People still says to build a world with 40 levels with a 0.0001% completion.
Yeah, that is the other part, right? I either find like, oh, I want to play a really, really good level, or I'm like, this is hard as sin. Right? Like I'm not putting myself through this.
Kaizo levels.
Yeah, I've watched like Twitch streams. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. It's not going to happen here, folks.
So Mario Souls.
Yes, exactly. There's a show title, Mario Souls.
Mario Souls.
Jesse, you can start looking for your key art now. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, we already had a Zelda crossover with Souls before.
Yeah,
I think I had the amiibo with the Zelda 2 link in a down thrust.
Nice.
Yeah. I do wonder, to your point, Jason, I wonder if like we will see in some of these other themes, like if we'll start to see more crossovers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do they start crossing over? I don't know. Like even I was just saying, like the Super Smash Brothers this month or this week is having a spirits contest with like, is it Final Fantasy? I think. They did something recently. Square.
They're doing the Mana.
Trial Mana, right? Do you know what I mean? Like you're like, what? Hold on a second, right? So like, could we see? I don't know. Final Fantasy cross with Super Mario Maker.
Something
Do you know what I mean?
like left field like that. Yeah.
And those become the themes that now you're purchasing. Do you know what I mean? So now your bits are an 8-bit cloud or like whatever.
Can I get a Mercedes in my Super Mario Maker?
That's exactly all we need, right? That's the key moments.
Okay, perfect.
That was such a weird crossover. That was like, and you were like, sorry, why do I have a Mercedes here? This is so out of place. So, but I think as Tim said, Nintendo like money, right? So it makes sense. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess the other big update that happened this week, it was all about updates this week. Animal Crossing, that is the update that occurred today. So let's break down what happened. There are new areas and visitors, including Leaf's Garden Shop, Jolly Reed's Treasure Trolley. Oh my God, seriously, these are actual things. The museum gets a art expansion, and there are new events such as Nature Day that runs from April 23rd to May 4th, May Day from May 1st to May 7th, International Museum Day, which is May 18th to May 31st, and Wedding Season. It's a whole season of weddings, interestingly enough, in the spring and summer. How convenient. Which is going from June 1st to the 30th. Jason, are you excited for this update? What do you think of it?
I'm all about the hedges, man. I'm getting some hedges in my island, decorating it up,
Okay. All right.
Wondering how many people already had the perfectly landscaped island, only to find out more options, and they're like, "No, I have to scrap it."
I've seen so many people in my Discord are like, "Oh, I got to move everything now.
I got to tear everything down." Yeah. Okay.
I have bills in the bank. What?
Right.
Tim, how's this landing for you?
Of course, I'm excited because I've been playing this the most. I think this is creeping up to the Breath of the Wild hours, for me.
Oh,
and I don't spend a lot of time on my Switch. I don't get to, but of course, the time we're in, I get a little bit more time than usual. But the thing that's got me excited the most, because I never played this part of it, and when I had New Leaf, was the art stuff. When you buy it, that game within the game, essentially, where you get to figure out if you're buying the real art or the fake art.
Wait, what?
And then
What?
Yeah, when
You
you
gotta
go to
educate
Jolly
Tim.
Reds, you have to examine the artwork to determine if you're buying the real thing or if you're buying a replica or a fake. Because if you're buying it to give to the museum, Blathers will let you know that, oh, this is a fake, and he can't take it. So you gotta look at it and learn the artwork that you're looking at
I
to
love
find
Justin's reaction. This is great.
to
Justin
find
has
out
never
if
met Red
it's
before.
genuine.
This game gives me so much weird stress and anxiety. Like, why? I found
So
this morning the interest rates are falling. Like, I get that email from my regular bank. Like, why do I need to hear this from you?
No, don't get confused with the interest rates. That's not to your house. It's interest rates that you get for interest you get in your checking account or your savings account. So you get money. You're getting money. So
You're just getting less money now.
yeah, you're just getting now
by
because
like-
in case for those time travelers who were
Times
cheating,
are tough
but-
all over.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the other part. Why is Nintendo lowering a fictional interest rate? I don't understand.
It's like a 90% cut, based on what someone ran numbers, before and after the update, and it went from like a 6% to a 0.6%.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was. They were getting millions and millions of dollars or bells, and I'm joking when I say time travelers are cheaters. You play your game how you like to play it. I'm joking, so don't come at me.
Jason, are you a time traveler?
I'm not.
Me? I'm not. Oh, Jason. Yeah.
Jason.
I am not.
All right. Sorry, there's fake art? What?
Yep. You have to determine which is real or
Yeah.
which is fake.
Oh.
And there was already somebody sharing like the version of it. I think that it was a New Leaf where you can actually look at the real. It gives
Oh,
like a
that's right,
description
yeah.
of what was fake about that art. So if they're using the same type of paintings or whatever, or artwork,
I feel like I'm so far behind in everybody else in this game. Like, I just got my second bridge built, and I was strutting around my island like I was
I'm
the
with
boss.
you.
I
I
was
only
saying, I was
know
like,
about
ha, ha,
this.
ha.
I only know about this because of our NDAD Crossing community. So those guys there who knock it out of the park
Yeah, they do.
and update all our family there. So they do a great job, and I try to keep up in their Discord. But man, that channel
Yeah.
blows up all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, but I also don't want to get any spoilers because I'm playing at my own pace where I'm just like you, Justin. This is like far behind, and I'm still ahead of my family and helping them.
I just learned about this week the treacherous black market that is turnip pricing.
Yes, I just got into that this week as
Yeah.
well.
I had no clue. I saw someone was like, I was reading something and someone's like, yeah, you can come to my turnips for my prices, but you have to leave a 10,000 bell donation. I was
Yes.
like, what is going on here?
Or 10 Nook Mile tickets.
What
Yeah,
about villager trafficking?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go
Villager
their
trafficking.
websites and people pay in-game currency to invite specific villagers to their
Yes.
islands.
Yes.
Like ridiculous amounts, like
This
millions
is-
upon millions of bells
I was
for
just reading
rare
about that.
villagers.
There is such a treacherous dark black market in a game that is so like. But
It is
it's like
crazy.
it's like watching like an episode of Black Mirror. Do you know what I mean? Like everything looks normal at the front, and you're like, so Tom
Maybe
doesn't
There's
charge
some
me
shady
to-
stuff going on.
maybe
Yeah.
the
Animal
Doom
Crossing.
Eternal crossover thing may happen in the end.
Like there's just I every day I'm in our chat, I was like, wait a second, there's an interest rate. Wait a second, there's a black market for turnips. What this isn't?
Yep.
There's fake art. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I just wanted to fish.
I
got
guess
it.
exactly
Fish.
it, right?
And
now
not get an
it's
egg.
like,
Right? Yes, and not get an egg.
you get an egg? What is it now gonna be like an eco-terrorist that shows up and the bunny doesn't leave me alone?
Well, I just got introduced to a couple things with the turnip stuff where you can actually go to somebody built a website where you can look for people who are selling or trading their ability to come in and sell your turnips, for those things, like you said, for, a drop of some bells or some Nook Mile tickets. But then Drew in our Discord also said, hey, I went to Twitter and I just looked up, turnip, prices or whatever, and you just follow people who are
Turn
posting
up
it in
and
Twitter.
Dodo. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Turnip and Dodo code. And then you just follow people, and I was able to sell all my turnips for 607 bells each. So doing that method, doing the Twitch method, but
Yeah.
it took a few hits to try to get it. Somebody to send me their dodo code.
We had an amazing fan of the show. The first week turnips were out there who sent me sent us a DM and was like, "Hey, I'm selling for like 600. You want in?" I was like, "Yes, yes, I do." And I thought that was like normal for everything. So I was like, "Oh, this is great." And then I was like, "No,
No. That's
that
a
is
very rare
not
price.
normal." And it was so weird because it was like DM. I was like, "Huh? Why don't we just tell everybody this?"
Slide on in.
Now I can kind of figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, originally mine today was just 216, and then I said I'm gonna hold on to it and see if I can find a better price. So it's crazy.
I don't know if we've talked about it before, but I've heard about it on other shows where you can only have up to 7 other people on an island at once, and every time someone logs in, it's like a 30 or a 60-second wait
Yeah,
before you can actually do anything. And
Yep.
I ran into that when I was visiting the island.
So-
I took a few steps, and then I had to wait for another person to come in, and then took a few steps
Yeah,
trying to make it to the nook.
You gotta
I was
run
like,
a you
so
gotta
if
run
you
a queue.
advertise you have high sell rate,
Yeah,
set up your system. Don't expect to touch it for at least 10 minutes because people still come in.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I'm learning
crazy.
so much about this shady world.
I
But
would
I'm also
rather just
loving
do it internally, so I could save some time. But man, that does cause some stress.
Yeah. Jason, how many hours have you sunk into this thing already?
Not that many.
Okay.
I think I haven't checked, honestly. I bet you I'm still under 60.
Okay.
Because like I'm at the point now. I'm still like very much gated with what I can accomplish in a day. So I kind of go in, harvest fruit, dig up my fossils, run around, collect some junk. Then I'm done. Come back in the afternoon, check prices, and then.
Jason, I feel like you and I have the same routine, buddy. That's the exact same thing I do.
I'm waiting on my 8th villager to move in tomorrow, and then I think that'll open things up, and I can actually do a little bit more. But
okay. Yeah, I think you're definitely ahead of me then. I think I've only got like 3 or 4 villagers living in my place now.
Step it up.
I know, right? I was excited I got invited to a fishing tournament recently. CJ showed up, and I was like, "What is going on, buddy?" Like I was excited.
I'm still trying to get that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy stuff. Any of these updates, Jason, like interest you the most?
The whole wedding thing kind of confuses me, right? I mean, that's an interesting addition, and like how they'll implement that in the game. But I mean,
The market.
We get our waifu simulator in Animal Crossing, but they're like animals, and that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a whole new subsector of
many people on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to play. I'm just playing. I'm just kind of playing my own way, and I'm happy. Like, especially I'm going for like a more natural look. So I guess like the whole having Leaf come in and set up his shop, and I can buy more things to throw around the island. That's great. That works for me.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Let me ask you this then, maybe, Jason. What do you think of Nintendo's communication strategy, I guess, or DLC strategy, right? And this is very contradictory, or a juxtaposition, perhaps a fluxtaposition, right? Right? Ding, ding, ding. Ring the bell. That was a great one. To like their communication with DLC as it, in almost comparison to Super Mario Maker 2.
I like this. I like how good when stuff can stay under wraps, and I mean, I guess it depends on how much if you look for it, because there's always some corner of the web with enthusiasts that things are data mined or leaked. But for the most part, Nintendo does a pretty good job of keeping stuff under wraps. It's fun when stuff comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden there's this video, and you're like, what is this? Oh my god! And it's out tomorrow. Oh, This is great. It's just exciting and it's fun, and I like it. I mean, honestly, I want my coffee. I want Brewster back in. I want my coffee shop in Animal Crossing. That's what I'm looking for. But it's fun when things come out like that, and you get this nice video that explains things. It's quick, hits the points. I don't need 6 20-minute directs dedicated to these Smash Bros mechanics and things like that. I like it when it's simplified, quick hit, in and out. I like what they're doing. It'll be interesting to see how long they keep this pace up for.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do they like as we come to the end of June? Do we expect another like, hey, 3-minute quick trailer? Here's what you can expect in July, August, September,
Yeah.
next like as we go through a full year cycle with Animal Crossing, because you'd think there's got to be updates in there, right? Oh, it's winter, it's Halloween, it's all these kind of things, right? Like, what is year 2 look like Animal Crossing? Year 3, we know it's such an evergreen title, right? We know that people put in, I've put in 400 hours in Animal Crossing. Like, what are you doing with your life? They're like, I'm collecting bells and I'm living my best life. Quit judging me, right? Because
I'm
people
paying
like
my bills.
Right, yeah, exactly. Tom Nook has got me by the, but like you're just
By the
moving
bells?
forward.
By the bells.
Tom
Yep.
Nook has me by the bells. But like you have people just check in, and to your point, I harvest my fruit, I find some more dinosaur fossils, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? And I wonder, and especially this kind of connects with the conversation we had earlier about it's massive sales, right? We know that it's moving. We know people are engaged with the topic. And to your point, Tim, earlier, does this mean it's now A tier? What does year 2, year 3, year 4 look like? Do they take the same approach as something like a Smash Brothers, where it is, you can see it's, we're now almost under 2 years of Smash Brothers, and that content continues to grow even more so.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Jason?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, this year, just starting looking trying to look the rest of this year, I don't even know what's coming. Like, if you ask me, I don't even know what's coming on the horizon so much this year. Like what we have in terms of heavy hitters or big releases coming. So it's good to have something like this to stave them. I don't want to say stave the masses, but to keep people occupied and keep people excited in the games that they do have to play. And that's a good point you bring up. Like, is this a pace that they can continue to churn out content like this? And then you have to wonder, how much was this that, just due to constraints wasn't able to make the original release window, or was it, I hate saying like content that was purposely left off in order to be, brought in down the, along the way. But like, especially with Animal Crossing, like these were all pieces, like my exposure is only going back to like New Leaf. You're looking at things that were in the base game. And so it's like, well, that's part of the Animal Crossing experience. Why didn't we get it inside of New Horizons? But I'll have to think on that some more before I can give you a full.
That's all right.
A full answer.
I also wonder if we're ever going to see this transition to paid DLC or paid season pass. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder how far that, like, because to your point, in some ways, right? Like, you've already got them in the door. You've already got the system. You've already got them purchased, right? Ideally, what you want is you want to upsell, right? I mean, let's
convert on.
Convert on. That's the Pokemon model. That's the Smash Brothers model, right? We've seen this consistently with Nintendo's franchises, right? So how do you move? And I'd argue Splatoon did this really well, right? Here's all of our free updates. And by the way, now we have this Octo Pass, right? That extra kind of mini game they purchased in there, right? Like, so at what point does Nintendo kind of like transition it into, and by the way, you get your free updates and here's your $20 and you get a year pass of whatever that is, right? And you'd think that they're going to want to monetize, and especially when you look at as big as their sales are, and as big as those numbers are going to be when finally announced, right? Like, it kind of makes logical sense. I would think. Tim, what are your thoughts on some of this stuff?
Yeah, with the way things are lately, it's hard to predict anything with Nintendo right now. So, I mean, I was just trying to look up something where you were mentioning about whether we're going to continue to get free updates, and then when is it going to become paid? And I thought they mentioned something about that for Animal Crossing, that the first year, I think, was going to be, free stuff for the seasons. But I'm looking for that just to make sure, because I don't want to say anything wrong. But I could have swore something's clicking in my head and make me think that there was something that was said that, they're going to be supporting this game for so long, and then what's going to happen after that, we don't know. Obviously, they don't say that far, but yeah, it's I could see them doing DLC. It makes sense.
I feel like they could, like, there's an opportunity for like some more multiplayer aspects with this game too, and just have like some more, like, remember in New Leaf they had like that, you go to the island and they had like those like mini games you could play and stuff like that. So
because they'd still have that dock over there. I don't know what they're going to use that for. You could probably catch a boat to go somewhere with that. So there's so much potential.
Right
Yeah.
do.
So it's
Okay.
there's definitely potential there, and yeah,
I think, speculations that we talked about maybe before the launch was like it'll be like a year's worth of events, and then they could just then have all the normal events unlocked, so time travelers can then hit them all, or they still have to be time gated through with updates. So, which could perhaps lead to a different Easter Day celebration or Bunny Day celebration than
Non-denominational egg bunny day.
right. But so they still could have the event, but be a different event than previous years. We don't know what they're planning yet.
and something that Nintendo Chat brought up the other day was the cosmetics potentially for DLC too. I mean, they could make a killing on that, just like
Sure.
Fortnite does. You know,
Yeah.
you can just buy this outfits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring in from their own properties or even.
Beards.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Right.
because that's the thing we don't have. We don't have, like you saw in New Leaf. You had all like the little collectibles you have. You know, you could have your little Metroid sitting around your house, your little R-wing, all these
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
invincibility
sets.
star, all that stuff.
Yeah. But I guess would
NES games back.
Yes.
does something like I guess those costumes come into play when there's, and again, this is literally my first crack at Animal Crossing, so I don't know if it exists in the same way, but like there's so much customization you can currently do on outfits and designs and stuff like that. Like, so
They brought up the same point, but it was
Okay.
more of, that's a flat surface. It's just, pixelated
Mm.
yeah,
designs, whereas opposed to where if you're getting like a theme pack, like
okay,
it's going to be
Actually has depth
individual
and-
items and
okay,
yeah, exactly, depth and design and stuff like that. It'd be more detailed.
So I know the 3DS version had QR codes you can generate and share. Does the Switch have any
Yes.
Yes.
mechanism to
Yep.
share?
Yeah.
In fact, you can use your real phone, I believe, if I remember
Yes.
correctly.
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I know you can use the app to scan QR codes from other games, but can you make something in the Switch version and then somehow share it?
Yeah,
Yep.
and actually, hold on a second. There we go. You can't see that one. There
Yep,
is the
right
Dad's Crossing T-shirt that I have. So all I need to do is enter in that code that's on there, and the short sleeve T-shirt comes my way.
Yeah, the
it's like a
Able, the
designer
Able
code or
sisters have
something.
a kiosk in their store
Yeah.
that you can share designs through that.
Okay.
I was like 2 weeks behind everyone reaching this point, so I was seeing all this stuff on Twitter, and I was like, "This is so weird. That looks cool, but I'll just delete that and move on." And I was like, "Son of a biscuit box! I wish I'd saved that." I saw a lot of great costumes. So.
Yep.
All right.
It's amazing what you can do with that stuff. But definitely,
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
do some sort of DLC, I think it's going to be a little bit more intricate.
Yeah, I'm big into making pixel art in there. That's what I've been wasting time doing. So
Nice, awesome. Yeah,
I've
like
seen
there's
people like recreate NES scenes.
yes, that's
with
Yes.
lots of pixel art.
someone
30
mother.
was it 16 by 16? Is that is that your palette?
yeah.
Or is it 32 by 32?
No, maybe it might only be. I think maybe it's 32. I don't know. I'm not completely sure.
You don't have a lot to work with either way.
You don't have a lot. I mean, you can fit like Frog from Chrono Trigger. That's like almost takes up the whole space. So anything bigger than that, I mean, it's not happening.
Yeah, I saw someone do an overworld of like Super Mario 3, the first world, I think, in that pixel art. Speaking of like crazy designs, I saw someone do Earthbound.
Yeah.
Like they
Yes.
designed Earthbound. I was like, what is like so crazy? This entire thing is just
Somebody
like,
did Mario 1-1 did that whole thing too.
really, man, it's
Or-
incredible to see.
Taking the terraforming, just crazy, and making Hyrule out of the
yeah.
island. That was nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
Andre did a video about that.
I like it. All right, we're gonna move on to, so that's Animal Crossing, folks. I would be remiss if I did not mention you should listen to the Ndad's Crossing or Ndad Crossing podcast.
Oh, you fixed it.
I did. I was like, I'm not gonna get yelled at. These guys yelled at me last time. I'm not gonna do this. Ndad Crossing podcast. The guys over there do a fantastic job breaking down all the Animal Crossing news. So if you like that, guys, make sure you subscribe to our channel. It's on our YouTube site. It's on our podcast feed. We do an amazing job. Although,
Dad Crossing
ironically,
podcast is on the same feed that this one will
yeah,
show up.
ironically, I heard they had recorded an episode on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and then the announcement came out for this. So they
Yes.
scrapped their entire. I think they scrapped the episode they did and had to redo it again, do a new
Yeah.
one. I was like, "Welcome to the world of working in like Nintendo and media and gaming." Like that's
This is
Well,
why we
unless they
record on
changed it.
Thursdays.
Unless they changed it last minute. Last discussion I saw before they did the recording, they said, let's do a new part to the beginning of the show, but leave our predictions in just to show if we met those predictions. Now, I don't know
Okay.
if they stayed with that idea,
okay.
but that's what. And unfortunately, I'm way behind on all my podcasts, so I don't
That's
get to
okay.
listen.
Yeah, I think we all are, right?
I think everyone says that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel so bad because I was reading that too. I was like, there's some great content out there, but I am so far behind. It's not even funny. So, I want to shift gears to some kind of dubious actions. We've talked about fantastic things: sales, Animal Crossing, Super Mario Maker 2 updates. Well, let's talk about some dubious, sketchy things that happened with the Nintendo Switch this last week. Let's start with the first one. Tim, you have here in your notes, shopping bots are allowing resellers to buy Switches within seconds, creating a shortage. Tell us more about that.
Oh my gosh, scalpers! They're the bane of our existence.
Okay.
No, it's just it sucks because I mean all these people want a Switch, and there's somebody's going to pay for it. Obviously, resellers or the scalpers who are making bank, they're making money moves, whatever you want to call it. They're paying for these developers or coders to create a bot, an AI system, machine learning, whatever you want to call that, but a bot that can go out and identify, hey, Target has these that they're selling, and the bot can go in and start either. I'm not sure exactly if it notifies the resellers to immediately go in, or if the bot automatically goes in.
I think the bot will place the order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know some sites can block that to a certain extent with the cache stuff or the whatever you call that thing, where you have to put in a code at the end to show that you're human.
Like
but,
the most popular script that's being run right now is written by the author's intent was for people to use it to buy one system for them, not all the systems for one person to then resell at double the price.
Yeah, is it like a brick and mortar site or something like that? There's one site that uses that where you can put in the SKU and it tells you, hey, we got a hit that Walmart has these in stock, and what location. So, and I'm sure it's these shopping bots go one step further by saying, okay, we found that SKU, now we're putting in the order with these details that you have in here. So I'm sure they have the credit card already loaded up and all that, and all the details for it, the bot just go through. So it's crazy. I can't get a bot to test certain things on some software at my work, but you can get a bot to maybe scalp a Nintendo Switch easily. So
yeah, that definitely sucks, right?
And especially when you got all these people who want one, for real.
Right.
So
that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked about earlier, Nintendo is in a shortage of shortage in this time. We've got people who just, and unfortunately, it's people looking to make a quick buck, right? It's the same idea as, I shouldn't say same idea, but hey, let's buy up all the toilet paper at Costco, right? Yeah. And let's try and sell it. You're like, come on, really? Come on. So if you're doing that, stop. Please don't, right? That's don't be jerks.
I also heard that Nintendo is planning on upping their Switch production, and I think they're shooting for 20-some million units, new units manufactured before the end of the year.
Just go on that guy's Imager page and make your own.
Right. Yeah. I watch videos on that too, where a lot of people are going and making their own by using parts from broken ones because of the shortages.
That's crazy.
So it's like I just saw a picture of everything all mapped out where all these pieces that were good, they're all mapped out, taking it all from the broken ones that they bought, and still can make a Nintendo Switch for $200 or something like that.
Yeah, I remember when I tried piecing together two DS lights that were broken in different ways to try to make one working unit. I just ended up with a table full of broken parts.
Yeah, sometimes it can go wrong.
Now, what I would say, if you're a person who's out there looking for a Switch and you can't find one, I will say this. I have seen them in Costco. That appears to be a spot that, and I don't know if because they don't have an online infrastructure the same way, because you actually have to go into the actual building
You have to
and
be a
purchase
member
them.
too.
And
To
you
see
have
it
to
Be a
online.
member as
You got
well.
that gatekeeper.
So if you're a person who's looking for a Switch, or maybe your Switch maybe coming to the end of its life cycle, or you're trying to maybe pick one up for a friend and help them out, check out Costco. I know up here in Canada, there have been a ton of them. So that may be somewhere to look as well. So again, guys, that is Costco. And if you are having success and you found one that you're looking for, take a picture, send it to us, let us know. We're happy. Applaud you. Yay. Awesome. Speaking of other really kind of nefarious actions happening in Nintendo as well, Nintendo confirms an investigation reports of unauthorized logins. So this has kind of hit the news circuit the last couple of days here. And I know a good friend of ours, Bobby Paul, the Nintendo guru, actually had his account, his Nintendo account accessed. And apparently someone bought a whole bunch of Fortnite currency.
Some good old V-Bucks.
V-Bucks, there it is. I was like, what is it called?
Yeah, I saw someone on a Facebook group show like 7 transactions of $99 each.
Oh, and actually in our group, Christopher Logel, who is Chris, who is our kind of our author right now on our website, blog says, he has said, I had my Nintendo account hacked on Easter Sunday, but I was able to change the password and set up 2-factor authentication. Was anyone else affected by this? Have any of you guys been affected by this yet?
I have 2-factor set up already, so.
Yep, I have 2-factor as well. Although, I was going through and I was updating our budgeting software today, and all of a sudden there's like this weird PayPal transaction. I was like, no, they got me. And I was like, oh, just my wife. Just my wife's spending my money.
She still got you though. She still got you.
Yeah, she got you.
Yeah,
it's just to be clear too, because I was nervous about this too, but Nintendo is investigating the reports. They haven't quite confirmed whether it's true or not, but we're seeing a lot of it. So I mean, we could see that it is happening.
Yeah.
But they haven't come out and said, "Oh yeah, we got hit."
Was there a recommendation to unlink your PayPal too if you had that link to your account, or is it just mainly to set up 2-factor?
I just read 2-factor because it's what they were seeing was no 2-factor accounts were being affected.
Yeah, and they do have, and I think this happened. I think the majority of this, I shouldn't say majority, it seemed to pop off. I would say at least on the weekend, right? Yeah, and very quickly I noticed. I'd seen again Bobby's post that he had to get that sorted. And then Monday, like on the news section of my Nintendo Switch said, like when you turn on the news items on the top left-hand side, there's 3 stacked.
Yep.
Number 1 said 2-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So I know that they're proactively trying to communicate to people 2-factor authentication. And I think they even sent out a tweet this week as well about 2-factor authentication.
Yes.
I didn't have 2-factor authentication on my device. I do now. I've set that up. I will tell you that right away.
Yep.
So yeah, I do think that it's a very important thing. If you haven't done that, make sure you take the time. It's relatively easy. It's downloading an additional app, right? To help.
The only time it becomes a headache is if you get a new phone. That's the only time it becomes a headache.
I have not done a purchase yet with my 2-factor authentication, so I'm curious how this is going to work in the end. So, do you know how it works? So you put in your normal password. And so, Tim, if you want to just tell us what your password here, just as an example of that.
Sure, yeah. My password is...
Yeah, and your credit card number...
Go jump in a lake.
On the back.
No.
I love Minnesota!
Yeah.
Exclamation point.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's... that's why I'm saying whenever you change your phone, 2-factor is the only time it ever takes effect for me, because I recently changed my phone. But whenever I go to the site normally, I still enter in my regular password. It's whenever you go to a new device and it doesn't recognize that device, it asks for that second authentication, and you have to put in that 2-factor authentication code from, say, like Google Authenticator.
Okay, but if I'm buying a game on the eShop on my Switch, how does that work? Because normally I put in my password.
You don't need it there. You won't need it there. 2-factor is not needed on your Switch. It's only
on
needed
your device.
if you go to your
so if I go a web browser,
your phone, or your computer when you go to the eShop or the web shop to buy your stuff there. that's when you need the 2-factor.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was a little bit curious about that, but now that makes a little bit more sense. Okay. Interesting.
Yep. Unless, well, yeah, because then there's the password. Because right now I have my password turned off on my Switch. So, but when I was sharing it for the brief moment with Sam, I had it turned on where you needed the password, but it's still, it's been a while, so I don't believe it asked for the 2-factor authentication code there because it was already
not a new device at this
authenticated.
point.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong
Okay,
on the Switch itself, but I don't remember experiencing that part of it on the Switch. It's only on other devices where you can purchase a Switch title.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So if you're purchasing on device, you're okay. But if you're using a web browser or something else, that's where that,
If
that
you're
comes
purchasing it on the Switch itself, you should be
Okay.
fine.
in. Okay. I guess same idea of like, well, sure. We have the case when we log into our Nintendo Dad's account, right? We'll get an email of like, it looks like somebody from California is
Exactly.
trying to log in. Is this you? No.
Yes. And even if it is still on the Switch, it's only once. You don't do it every time. So
Yeah.
if it's been that far back that I don't remember, it was only that one time, and I've had my Switch day one. So, yeah, it should only happen once. You won't have to do it on every purchase.
Okay. Excellent. Sean Capri says, Masson, is that after you fax in your account information? Yes, Sean. I will fax in my account information first, but I'll send you Tim's. Start off with that. Excellent. Ebisel, yes, the people who were hacked did not have 2-factor authentication on. So that's why we're encouraging people to turn it on. All right. Those are kind of our big news items. I'm going to kick into a quick rumor. We'll spend about 3 minutes in this pocket, and then we'll move on to what we've been playing. So rumor has it. Ooh, rumor has it. Ooh. You can use that soundbite in the future,
Ooh.
Jesse. You're welcome. You're welcome, and Jason, because you're here.
I think
you can
everybody
take it,
uses
you can take
that
it as well, right?
Everybody
A
uses
listing
that one.
for Super Mario 3D World for Switch appeared at Best Buy with a SKU number of 6352130, has a price tag currently of $60. Why do I bring this up? Because we had the rumor a couple weeks ago that Super Mario World for the Switch would be coming this year as the celebration of 35 years of Super Mario, along with potentially other games. Jason, do you buy into this rumor, sir?
Yeah. I mean, I want it. I will play 3D World again.
Okay.
Sign me up. Take my money. Here's $60. I'm a Nintendo apologist. I'm a sucker.
Right.
I'm all the things. But yeah, I do. I mean, I think I think I buy into just because I want it. I want some sort of bundle of great other Mario games. I'll play them and I will cherish them.
All Stars 2.
Well, I was going to ask you, Jason.
What I want.
I'm going to throw this as a curveball question to you. Nintendo has now appointed you the design authority on building a bundled package of Super Mario games, but you can only, sir, put in 3 of the Super Mario games of all time. Whatever those 3 games are to you, what does that bundle look like? What 3 games do you put in there?
Well, if I'm looking at what hasn't been touched yet, I'm gonna put in, because it's for me, I'm gonna put in 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy.
Okay, so you're really hoping that rumor is dead true then, because that's exactly what the rumor is, right? Okay.
I mean, I'm taking the low hanging fruit, I guess, but
yeah.
I mean, I want to play a improved version of 64. I'd have no desire to go back and play that, and I love Sunshine. I still have the Kart for whatever. I still have the disc for whatever reason, and I'll never touch my GameCube. And then, I didn't have a Wii, so I would love to play Galaxy, and I had Galaxy 2 for a hot minute on Wii U, but just didn't really do much with it.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's very cool. I like that. Yeah, those are I think all fantastic, and I think that spoiler alert for if you have not finished Super Mario Odyssey, pause here, come back in 2 minutes. All right. And I think, when you look at like the end of Odyssey with the Super Mario 64 world they had built, right? Like that was such a like, oh wow, like this could look so awesome in this kind of engine. So I do wonder like if that was almost a bit of a testing of nostalgia.
Yeah, but
whether people are
even I
enthusiastic.
think it was Galaxy 2, one of the end game levels was a recreation of the first world in 64.
Yeah. 64 is so
Ever since
classic.
then, people says we need a whole game of this.
Yeah.
Give me all the things.
Yeah.
And I will add on to Jason's thing to where I
This
know
isn't
you
your
only
list. Jason was the one that was appointed as
Yeah,
authority.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
the three, we add a bonus game. Even it's going to be a fourth. Sorry, Justin, you have to have the fourth because it's a bonus hidden game. It's
Okay.
Galaxy 2. You unlock Galaxy 2 when you beat those first three.
But you need to get all 251 stars first. Good luck.
Yes, there you go.
Ooh, sure. Look at now. Yeah. So, Jason, you're buying in that they're gonna put out a 35 kind of year celebration.
I think,
It's a celebration of Mario.
I want it to be a thing, and then we're gonna get buy into that next when we get the Zelda anniversary and give me some Zelda collection. I just want to play Wind Waker again. I'll buy it. I'll buy it a third time.
Okay, awesome.
Zelda 2 needs a remake.
I'd get behind that too. I Am Error. That still has to stay though. I Am Error has to stay.
That's awesome. I like it. All right, folks, we're going to hit some quick events, giving you some updates about events that are going on, and then we'll move into what we've been playing. We have a bumper for events. Of course we do. Well
You
done,
just have to
Jesse.
give it a moment.
We do have to give them that moment. Ninjala's exclusive Ninja Club beta test happens next week. You can actually currently download the exclusive Ninja Club demo in the eShop right now. There are some time zones that you may need to check, but the dates are the 28th and 29th. You'll have a time to jump in there for about an hour to get your hands on with the game. So that is occurring next week. Splatoon 2, what? Splatoon 2 is back, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a special free demo next week on April 29th. How interesting that that's the same time as Ninjala's demo. How interesting. And they are bringing back Splatfest on May 22nd. It is Mayo versus Catch-Up. So if you're a fan of Splatfest and have been missing it, apparently you can come back and play it. And this
We
is
picked
such
on the first time they ran that event.
such a weird timing to bring this back. Jason, what do you think of them bringing back Splatoon out of nowhere?
I don't know where that's coming from. I mean, I thought Splatoon was done, and then all of a sudden I get like an everyone tag in a couple servers, and they're like, "This is not a joke, Splatfest." I'm like, okay, all right.
Is Nintendo looking back at its catalog in 2017 and going, "Should we dust something off?"
I mean,
right? I mean, Arms had a
Arms,
demo recently, right? Or a free access to it.
Free access.
You're getting one of the characters now added to Smash Brothers. Like, what is happening
We
here?
don't know we have very little knowledge of what's coming through the rest of the year, so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason, what do you think?
I mean, I kind of go back to my earlier point. We don't know what's going on for the rest of the year. We've got some delays because of the state of everything now. Let's reinvigorate our current library. Let's get people playing some stuff that's already out there. I mean, and if they, I'll admittedly, if they put support in Splatoon, there's still a huge community that would still play in Splatfest every time it would come up. I think there's a lot of people that miss that about that game. And I think could we see them like all of a sudden, like, let's just redo Splatfest again? I don't know. But all of a sudden on my timeline, there's ketchup and mayonnaise debates going on like crazy. So this is what happens. The power of Nintendo. I
wonder if there'd be some interesting crossovers between some of the other franchises, right? Would we see Animal Crossing somehow crossover Splatoon? Like, could there be some more cross-pollination as well to bring people in? It's interesting stuff. Tetris 99, the 12th Maximus Cup, featuring Ring Fit Adventure, starts tomorrow, actually, and play to earn at least 100 event points to unlock the Ring Fit Adventure theme. We were seeing this big earlier in last year, or back half of last year, Tetris 99 themes and Maximus Cups. They're kind of reinvigorating this franchise a little bit as well. It's been kind of dormant for the last 6 months. I think the last big one was Pokemon was the last big theme one. I'm actually shocked we haven't seen an Animal Crossing theme one for it as well, very interesting to see what happens. So those are events to be aware of, folks. Guys, let's jump into what we have been playing. Jason, as is tradition here, sir, you are the guest, so
Ooh.
please do tell us, what have you been playing, sir?
Sure. Just give the grand scheme of things here. Animal Crossing. Obviously, I've got the routine. Got to make my bills. Got to pay off some debt. I have to make my daily tribute to my raccoon overlord. So that's and people can probably wax poetic on that plenty of times. Everyone knows what's to come there. I've fallen back into my Smash Bros train and then playing that like crazy. When there's like I don't know why it took so long, but I won some tournaments and the online mode. So kind of not a big deal, but kind of a big deal.
The crown is heavy on the head, isn't it?
A little bit. But that's my most played game on the Switch. I think I'm at close in like 400 hours.
Wow.
In Smash. So I think that's always going to be the thing I'll go back and play and just to fool around with and have fun. And then at the urgings of Donnie Reese from PSVG, little indie title called Kunai that's out there on the eShop. He told me like he really thought it'd be a game up my alley, and it's kind of like it's a indie slight Metroidvania in the way that you have to get some upgrades to access different levels. It's got a really kind of unique art style. It kind of visually, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of Hollow Knight in a way, not in the sort of it's not similar aesthetics. It doesn't really have that dark, but I mean, just something about it's got like this little animated, almost like a flash animation kind of look to it. But your little character, you're actually like, you're called Tabby, and literally you're like a robot with a tablet head. And it's interesting because the way the face displays during the different animations you're doing on screen. But the game has like, the combat's pretty basic. You have a katana with the sword attack, and it has like a decent weight to it. When you do strike enemies, it has like a nice little kickback, and it feels like there's some weight there. But you eventually you unlock, like, they're called your kunai, and they're like, especially it's like a grappling dagger. You can shoot it up in different, left and right trigger shoots the left or the right, and so it really has some interesting grapple and swinging mechanics because of that. And I could really see people like speed running that game because you can really get some momentum and really fly through the levels. But I think I probably put maybe 10-12 hours into it totally. It wasn't like a mind-blowing length, but it was just a fun little experience to play through. And I think it just released maybe within the past 2 weeks, so I think it had like a decent sale on the eShop, and I had coins and credit, so I was like, nothing.
It released early February, but
okay. So I was close. So it was no out of pocket expense. So I was like, sure, I'll jump in and play around with it. And it was fun. I didn't know anything about it. Going out, it's always weird when you go out for friends' recommendation because you never know going in blind. Like,
yeah,
do they know you as well as they think you know you? In this case, Donnie did, and then it was fun. It was fun to kind of play through it and just kind of tool around. And man, really, that's been it. Just the work from home stuff. It's kind of I've been playing more games than ever because it's nice now. Instead of water cooler talk for like 10 minutes, like, oh, I'm just gonna let me just get some bells here and then go off and do my thing. And if I want to go back a little bit further, my co-host Lucas and I had played through Chrono Trigger. Well, he's still finishing it. I got hooked and I rampaged through. We played Chrono Trigger together, so I was playing through that. So that covers everything.
That's awesome. Chrono Trigger is one of those ones for me that is missed. I have never played it. I have a DS copy of it, just like that. Actually,
that's the version I eBayed to play it. It's a great version right there. Okay. And that was that's the whole reason we did it, because like I had never, from start to finish completely, I had never done it. I'd played the game, started numerous times, and I wanted to actually kind of complete the journey. So I if you ever get the time, Justin, then like 25-ish hours you're looking at.
Really?
I mean, it's worth it. It's so good.
It feels like there are games that like on systems that like you missed, right? Like it feels like, oh, that's a glaring blind spot, right? And that's one for me that has always kind of haunted me. I'm like, no, I have to do that one because there's so much positivity I've heard about it. So that's awesome. Do you mind me asking, Jason, who do you main in Smash?
Falco Lombardi. He's always been he's my love affair. The bird.
All right. Excellent. And obviously we're talking about Smash, we're talking about the DLC, Fighter Pass 2. I'll start with this. Fighter Pass 1, I assume you got it.
No, I
You
don't
didn't
own
get Fairy
any.
Tail
I don't
Sword.
own any of the DLC
Oh,
for
okay.
Smash.
All right. I was
And
gonna
that's the
say,
funny thing. I didn't in Wii U. I didn't buy any of the DLC either because I think I play with so many of the vanilla characters,
yeah.
and so I'm always hoping like people ask me like, what would it take, and it entice me to get it, and I'm sure they're eventually just gonna be like that. Like Banjo Kazooie did move the needle, and I thought that was gonna be the one, but there wasn't any one character that I felt like I had to play as. But like if you gave me like put Earthworm Jim as a character, sign me
That
up.
might do it.
Sign me up. That'll
Okay.
do it.
All right. I was going to ask you if you had any kind of early bets on who you think will be in season 2.
I can't
Let's say
even. I mean,
Earthworm Jim would be a big marketing push for Amico if that ever happened.
yeah. I'm like the thing is like, if they ever did like the characters I'd like to see, they already have as like assist trophies. So I just don't think we're ever like. I'm sure everyone else would say it too, but I'd love to be a Shovel Knight. That'd be great. And he's already in Brawl Out, but like Hyperlight Drifter in that game the Drifter was so awesome as a fighter in that. So I think in Smash he'd be such a sweet character as well. But that's already happened, so I don't see that taking place. But nothing that feels like they're just gonna give us another Fire Emblem character anyway. So what's it matter?
That is exactly it, right? How many more are we gonna get before it's done? Nice. All right, Jesse, what do you got?
All right, so last week I played most of Pixel Cross Adventure. I finished that up. I did it finish with 100%. There was a few puzzles that were really hidden well. It's one of them was actually like underneath overbrush, so you only saw a very small fraction of the puzzle artifact. So, but I eventually did find them all. And when I was done with that, I think I hinted at this last week. I bought a game called Wild True Learn. It's kind of it's a simplified programming type of game where in the story you build this machine learning mechanism because you want to learn what your cat is saying, and it just goes on this weird tangents. And I was getting frustrated because a lot of the elements had a bit of randomness in it. Ibaso was in the chat with me when I did a stream. He was getting frustrated watching it.
Oh, wow.
And he's an app developer too, so that definitely is not a game if you if you don't have any interest in logic puzzles and programming things. Like if you didn't like Human Resource Machine 7 Billion Humans, you're not going to like this. This isn't, I'd still recommend those games over this one. It was an interesting thing to play just to see how its take on a programming type of game. It's just, I got to a point where if I wanted to progress, I'm just going to have to sit with a walkthrough, and then I'm not really playing the game anymore. So I don't find that sort of thing fun. So when I gave up on that, I found out that there was a game called Voxelgram that came out like 2 months ago that somehow went under my radar, and I completely missed it. It's basically 3D Picross light. And so the thing that I liked about Nintendo's Picross 3D games was it had like 2 sliders, so you can control the layers of both dimensions relatively easily. This one doesn't do that. It's the triggers for either dimension, but it depends on how you have it oriented. So once you get used to that, then it goes pretty well, pretty quickly. There was 190 puzzles total, broken up. There's 19 dioramas, each one with 10 puzzles. So you see like this layout with just a bunch of bricks, but as you solve the puzzles, the big blocks are replaced with the solutions to the puzzles. So you're making these little scenes, and it's I still prefer the Picross 3D games if you were to pick one of them, but it's still if you have that itch that needs to be scratched for a cheaper price, this works. I have, I think, 2 dioramas left. I was wanting to do a live stream of one of them, just to show how that game works. I was hoping to do it tonight, but I never got around to setting it up. So, and then, so I'll definitely have the game, and I'll have the pre-built puzzles completed probably by tomorrow. But there's also a random mode. You're able to. I haven't looked at it yet, but you're able to give it some parameters and what you want to see, like sizes of the block, and probably how dense or loose or basically how difficult the puzzle is. I'll probably do that a few times as well, to see what it can do. But when I have my fill with that, then I have the Picross S4 that just dropped today that I haven't touched yet. But that one has over 400 puzzles, and I'm sure I'll be talking about that one next week.
It's crazy. I can't even deal with that.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never made the jump to 3D Picross. I love the 2D ones, but I've never tried the 3D.
It's the puzzle hints are a little bit different. Instead of like in regular Picross, if you have 2, 2, 1, then you have a group of 2 followed by a gap, and then a group of 2, and then a gap, and then a 1. Here you only ever get 2 numbers. The similar 2, 2, 1 will look like 5, 2. There's 5 squares total with 2 gaps.
Got it.
And the gaps don't necessarily. It can be a gap of 1 space or a gap of 4 spaces. It's still considered 1 gap. So once you get used to that way of thinking, it falls into a rhythm of go through the algorithm in your head and to solve them. It's basically solving multiple little 2Ds Picrosses at the same time.
Okay.
You go through the layers one way, and then you rotate it and go through the layers the other way, and then you repeat until it's done.
That sounds too much. Too much. Tim, what have you been playing?
Well, just as we talked about, Animal Crossing, of course, probably takes up most of my time. But when I don't play that game, I'm still trying to knock out the Shinsekai Into the Depths, which is a Metroid type game, Metroidvania type game. It's playing towards being on my list of Game of the Year games for me. So
wow,
I'm enjoying it very much. It's underwater type Metroidvania type game, and just the graphics, the story is keeping me intrigued and where it's going. It's a very interesting game. And I talked about it for the past few weeks, so I'm trying not to talk about it again too much. People are probably tired and like, doggone it, Tim.
People are like,
on.
are you sponsored?
Yes.
Tim's getting
but I have to shout it out because I really like the game. And it's, as I play it more, this is one thing I did want to say that I forgot, that was, it is more exploratory type game than it is action, if you will. But when you do get to the action points, like fighting the boss for that area or that level, it is pretty phenomenal for me, at least in my opinion. So the bosses are pretty big, and they're pretty good level of difficulty, and it also depends on what level you turned it on to, because you can put it on easy mode, normal, or hard too. So, but they can be a handful, which is good, but it feels pretty good when you are fighting them. But actually, what took most of my time this past week is playing Castlevania Collection. Actually, I think I took a big chunk of my Saturday where I played all day, where I played Super Castlevania 4, because it's for our retro rewind that we're bringing back, or that we brought back. And I wanted to play that for when we talk about it on the dinner table show in May. And Marty played it too. He's a monster at that game. It's like, well, at least the first part I watched him play, he's sitting there talking like somebody else is playing the game, because I can't do that. Like, I can't concentrate on what I'm saying and play at the same time, so I'm kind of scared to go on Twitch. But he's sitting there just playing along and talking about everything.
He said that first part of the game is just all muscle memory to him. So
yeah, it was crazy. It's like I'm watching him. I'm like,
did he finish
are you
the game
playing a recording?
Second night?
I don't know. I didn't get to watch. I didn't watch part 2 because I'm still. I made it to stage A, which really threw me off, because I was like, oh yeah, I beat stage 9. I'm ready to go to stage X, because it's Roman numerals. and it said stage A, and I'm like,
So-
stage A? What's stage A? Because this is the first time I'm playing this game. So
Hexadecimal numbering.
So yeah, I'm in the castle and all that kind of stuff. So I got the last part of it to finish still. So, and I probably would have finished it that night if I would have kept going, but I was like, oh, I needed to take a step back because I still have like almost 3 weeks before the show, before we record that show. But yeah, it's a blast, especially seeing what we talked about in the last dinner table show, was the mode 7 experience you have in that game, where you've got the turning cylinder room that you go through, and then there's some other ones that utilize mode 7, some other areas, but that room was the one that really utilizes that one and blows your mind. Because when I was looking at it again, I've seen it in pictures and I've seen it before, but I've never played the game. But actually playing through it, I was thinking back, man, if I would have played this when I was a kid and when I had the Super Nintendo, it would have blew my mind. It would have been like, this is real. This is, look at the graphics. Oh my gosh. It's like I'm in the game. So yeah, it was crazy to see that. And the game is still a blast. It's hard. And yes, I am using the save states to get through the game. So
Well, then you didn't really beat it, Tim.
then I'm really
just
playing it, so that's what
You're
matters.
a real gamer, Tim. Not a real gamer.
I'm using the save states to get, so I could finish it and all that.
Let me
kind of
stop you
stuff.
right there. You're not playing the game, Tim.
Yes, I'm not playing it, but I am.
The game is playing you.
Yes. But that's been a lot of fun. And then of course I did a video for a Let's Play for Path of Giants, which is a puzzle game type of, kind of gives me a little bit of a Captain Toad feel that I mentioned before. And
Triforce Heroes.
yes, thanks. Yeah, because you have to use three people. Thanks. You control 3 different characters, and it's a 1-player game. So I thought for sure it'd be like, oh yeah, you can hand somebody a controller and they can play someone else, but it doesn't have a multiplayer feature in it, which I was kind of surprised about. But single player wise, you get just this puzzler where think Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, where you're on the isometric view and you're going through, although you can't rotate it all the way around like you can in Captain Toad. You're just looking at it. You can twist it a little bit, and you're solving to get from one end of the platform to another, depending on depending on high or lows and all that kind of stuff. And you have to depend on each other, those characters you're using, to get from one step to another. Because I guess these platforms were made for giants, if you will. So you have to use your other players or the other characters you're controlling to get from one step to another, like climb on them to get to the next step. And each one represents a color. So I have yellow, blue, and pink, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or 3 colors. And yeah, green, blue, and yellow. So and you got to get to their rightful colored platform at the top, or across from the area, and it triggers them to move on to the next platform. So in each stage there's probably 5 levels that you got to get through, climbing each other or getting to each platform or hitting triggers and switches to make other platforms move up and down or turn. So there's a lot of, you got a lot of thinking, and I like that part, to where it's not too stressful, but it's actually pretty relaxing because I just sit there and look at it. There's no timer. So that's what I like. I don't like to be rushed, to try, I gotta hurry up, get through this because there's a timer, but you don't get any bonus points for getting it in a certain amount of time. It's just get through the puzzle, get it solved, move on to the next one. And they're building up to some sort of story here that I'm not quite catching on to. I think it's just probably learning about these giants who set up these platforms. But there's about, first I thought there was 11 stages, but then found out this is like a deluxe version of the game where they added on a winter kind of like section, and so you get an additional, I think, up to 17 altogether stages.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it, and like I said, I did a let's play video of it, just checking out the first stage, first levels within the first stage, and go check that one out. And once I'm done getting through this one, I might do a review video just to give it its final thoughts on it. So, and it was pretty, I don't remember how much it was, so I apologize.
Okay.
That's all I've been playing.
Right, well, that's a lot. That's a lot.
$9.
$9.
Thanks.
I'll be very quick. I've been playing Animal Crossing. All right, moving on. Let's head over to Jason. Jason, this is our community spotlight. So, Jesse, we got music for this, of course. Very royal. It's very regal. And we hand this over, Jason, to you to highlight the amazing work that you do. What is it you do? Your podcast, where should people find you? Everything, just like, this is your platform, sir. What do you
amazing, man? That's a lofty. You're setting some lofty expectations out there already.
That's
you
fair.
know.
It's better than the Mega Dads. That's all you need to do. Better than the Mega Dads.
I mean, I just got to get out of bed then, right? I just got to get out of bed.
Right now, we're sounding better than the Mega Dads, by the way. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I do a podcast with my good friend Lucas called Flux to Post, fluxtopose.com. We've been doing that, 6 years now, quite a while, and not as family friendly as the Nintendo Dads. But there's some cursing, some weird.
Sure.
We'll go into some weird areas frequently, but it's evolved a lot over the years, and now it's kind of just I don't know. We hit this most recent year, and he's got 2 kids now. I have a kid. Just a lot of stuff going on. Our lives are busier than normal, so we kind of did some new content structure changes, and what I think we really liked. We kind of not so much rebranding, but like kind of just refocus the show a lot. And it's 2 guys. It's like hanging out with a good friend and just talking shop. Sometimes we'll talk about a game specifically, but then a lot of like slice of life stuff. Just what's going on with us and the nonsense of the internet and the weird wormholes you can fall down inside of while you're out there. And then as you guys mentioned down my intro, I'm loosely part of PSVG, not as heavily involved as I used to, but doing all the great things that the guys do at Play Some Video Games with Nintendo Shack, PSV. I mean, they've got a show for everything now. We got a show for wrestling, we got a show for Game Tech, we've got PlayStation, we've got your Xbox, we've got, if you want to talk about the Fast and Furious series, by gosh, we've got you covered. We got your Vin Diesel and your Paul Walker. We got your Zoomin and your NOS. We got it all. We got everything you need.
That's great.
I mean, so I'm doing it all, man. I'm doing it all. But really, just Flexibles is the passion project, and just having fun doing that. And just I don't feel like I always sell myself that well, on here, but.
Sure.
Ultimately, I'm just making some stuff that I enjoy doing and being true to the content that we want to have. Yeah. I do have to give a shout out, like the passion project that we did have that I loved a long time ago. We had a great YouTube series, Battle of the Beer. It was so fun. We'd bring we'd pick a beer style, and we each pick a beer, and then we would drink it, record video, score it. We had this beer board that updated with rankings, and we had, I will say, some fine editing. It was great content, but man, I tell you what, it was such a painstaking process to produce that, and especially like you have to tell your wife, well, honey, I'm going to be out of the house for probably like 4 or 5 hours, and I'm going to be having beer too. So, you take care of the kid. I'll be back later. It's cool, right? Okay.
After
love you
a few
too.
drinks.
Love you too.
Drinks, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and I've been, thanks for the invite on the show. I've been listening to you guys for quite a while now, so it's a pleasure to be on here.
Yeah, I think we've always kind of ran in the same podcasting circle,
yeah,
right? Or bumped into each other in the various, like the podcast high school, right? Yeah. Like, yeah, I know those guys. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we kind of go on the hall. We do that, that little nod thing you do. Right? And we just kind of go by, but we just, I'm too shy to go up and say hi, but sure. I think we could be friends. I think we'd hang out,
I think so. I'm all about this beer idea. That's my language right now. I'm going to tell you that one. No, it is absolutely great, Jason. And we're in the Twitch chat right now, and you're saying you're having a hard time selling yourself. Well, maybe Sean Capri can sell us a little bit about
good old
you.
Sean.
Flux the Opposed is so different from anything else out there. Jason and Lucas are lifelong friends. None of us have ever, never had but always wanted. It's a super fun show that helps me get through all the trials and tribulations of life. Justin Masson is incredibly sexy and my favorite Canadian.
That was an episode title.
I know, and I don't know why he wrote that, but
I think he saw that through the beer goggles.
Shut your mouth, Jesse. But I think that is absolutely. God damn it, Sean. I think this is absolutely. I think someone else speaks loudly for another podcast. Like that's better than an iTunes review, right?
Hey,
there.
If you need to put a new toilet in your house, Sean will tell you we're good. We're good DIY background music.
Good. Good DIY background music. That's fantastic.
You need to clean. You need to rake some leaves. Flux Bill's got you covered.
Got you covered. And Jason, you guys are on all podcast services, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. And if someone wants to follow you directly, what's the best way to do that on the show?
Yeah, Twitter. I'm the most active. It's recently changed my handle after a long time. I was like, why? I don't use Twitter for anything personal and ever professional. Sure. So let's have fun. So it's Hey Fluxay, FLUXAY on the old Twitterverse.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. This is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has been absolutely great to no longer just be hey. How
I was super excited to hear you were coming on the show. So
Tim, I'm glad you're here.
Well, Minnesota got to represent, right? You guys got to stay in the stripe together.
I mean, we didn't get Chase Young tonight, but I mean, at least it's the draft.
Good enough, right? Sports stuff, yay! Sports ball. Very last question I want to leave on this one. This is very interesting. I just want like a quick hot take on this. This came from our Discord community. Maybe Jason, I'll go to you first. Jason, what is your opinion on time travel in Animal Crossing? Is it cheating or not?
Ooh. Here's the thing. Like, I don't think I'm not going to classify it as cheating. If people want to play the game, if that's how they want to play the game, more power to them. Because I mean, it's not like you're. I want to say it's not like you're exploiting the game, and the way you're exploiting I mean, ultimately, you're not getting an advantage over anyone. I mean, it's Animal Crossing. It's a game that you unlock as you go. It's not like, oh, you've got this new item and you're going to destroy me. And I mean, there's no crossover. There's no multiplayer. There's no mechanic. If someone wants to rush ahead to try to get I want to play the long game with Animal Crossing. I want to enjoy that content over as long a period of time and really just be able to milk that $60 investment and to really feel like I got my money's worth out of it. I don't want to rush through in 2 weeks and do everything because I'm advancing through time and unlocking things. I don't have a desire to play it that way. If someone does, and that's how they get enjoyment, if that's how they want to play it, more power to them. But I'm not going to belittle someone. And I think it's too easy in gaming, and we can criticize people and judge them like, well, just like the joke we were playing on Jim, you're not a real gamer, you save state, that whole stuff. And it's like, I'm not gonna come across onto someone and tell someone else how they should enjoy their hobby or what's the right way to play a game. They're not duplicating items, or they're not. Their enjoyment of the game is not a detriment to how I enjoy the game. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say it's cheating.
Excellent. I think that's a fantastic take. I don't think we need to actually go around the horn for anyone else. I think that's
my soapbox, guys.
Drop the mic. Jason's done there, folks. And I actually think that's probably a good spot to end the show. Folks, we're going to start heading out. Again, Jason, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here with our time. I know it's a late night for you guys, but man, I appreciate that. And I think our fans are just going to love this content. So thank you. And again, guys, go check out Jason. Go check out Flux Opposed and everything that they do as well, because it is some amazing content you need to check out, subscribe, and support them as well. Before we head out, I'd be remiss if I do not say, guys, that our Discord community, super cool monthly mayhem section, guys, check that out. If you're in it, don't forget to provide your updates to the Monthly Mayhem scoreboard channel right away. Big thanks to Drew and Zablanc, who have been awesome at organizing that as well. You guys are completely amazing. Big thanks to our Patreon producers, Chris Mears, David Ernsberg, Sean Abbott, and Antonio Contario. I am getting tongue twisted. For all the amazing support you guys provide us and everyone that's helping us to be on Patreon and to be there as well. Hey, did you guys know we have a website? That's right. It's nintendodads.org. Check out our latest YouTube videos, tweets, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. All our social medias and Patreon page. And of course, there is the Nintendo Dads merch shop. You can check out some t-shirts, some stickers, whatever you want. You can, of course, find us over on Patreon, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and just type in Nintendo Dads. Thank you guys so much for all the support you have been providing us over the last several months. 2020 has been a banger of a year for us for our exposure on Twitch, on YouTube, and all our social medias. That's because of you and our community helping us grow. So thank you so much. Hey, we have an email box. Send us an email, nintendodads@gmail.com. We'll read it on the show. We'll have a chat about it. We love your input, and we love your what's going on in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, Marty Estes has been removed from the show and has been put on our call tree duty. What does that mean? He now answers our phones. So if you dial 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237, the mouth of the South, Mr. Marty Estes himself will answer your calls about Nintendo Dad. So give Marty a phone call, pick it up, and give him a ring. Of course, head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Castbox, wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe, rate our show. That'd be awesome. Guys, for myself, for Jesse, for Tim, and of course, for Jason, thank you so much for listening today. Have a fantastic day. Be safe, be well, take care of yourself, and take care of others. Bye-bye.
Check you later.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
We sound like the goddamn Nintendo Dads all of a sudden.